Don't invest on shares only. There is this, shares or stock market is doing fantastic and all that, but now people are just taking all their savings and you invest on shares only. Please, who said that? Do not invest on shares only. Remember what I always tell you people. It is good to have what we call diversification or portfolio diversification. What is that? Diversification, it is when you are having not only one investment, but multiples of investments. So please cease investing on shares only. You have your savings there. Remember, there's a video I've been saying, hey, listen, say, for example, you can save 10,000 each and every month. Take 2,000, put it on stocks. Take, say, 5,000, put it on money market fund. Take another one, put it, say, on equity fund or, say, a bond fund or something like that. See, when you distribute your money into variety of options rather than concentrating it on one thing. And listen, even if you are a beginner, you know nothing about investment, let us analyze this. You watching here, this video, you all know what is COVID-19. Okay? I'm not trying to explain something that happened in 1921 when almost all of us were not born. I'm explaining something that happened in 2020. We all knew or we all know what exactly happened. And COVID-19 affected one industry, especially an industry that was dealing with social life. Distancing was was also encouraged and something like that. I know somebody who had borrowed money to start a bar or a club or however you call it. And people are being told, hey, no drinking, no nothing. That means the business was affected. This guy had borrowed some cash. So the point here is, you never know when the disaster will strike. Don't concentrate all your wealth in one thing. You find somebody, his wealth is, say, in rentals only. No, distribute. Have it in different things. Have some bonds somewhere, have some bills, have some, we call them the hard and the soft assets. Have some bills somewhere, have some bonds, you have some rates, you have some real estate somewhere, you got some business running, you also have some other project going on, you have some money market funds, you have some stocks, you have some ETFs, you have some index fund, you get what I'm saying? Like, you are all over the place. You may not be able to have all this at the same time. I know what you might be thinking. Okay, I want to have all of. No, you can't just have a single sitting and then you stand after you've done. No, you start step by step. For me, I started with stocks. That was my first investment. Right now, I'm in variety of investments. Because for me, I always have one principle. I cannot get into an investment that I do not understand what it is. I have to know it and out before I put my money there. So you get into the stocks. For now, I know most of you already know what are stocks. You get into the stocks, all right? Amazing. Everything now is going good. You are now becoming an expert in that area. Explore other areas. Put your money here after you understood it, okay? And by the way, sometimes I tell people, it is good to make sure that you do some research. We have a lot of, in Swahili we say, katika msafara wa kunguru hakukosi brukenge. In other words, in English, that means when we come a group of people who are intentional, for example, when we have, say, protests, we are protesting against, let's say, a government doing this or something, or whichever it is. We have some few elements there that are breaking people's shops and stealing and what have you. So when we are talking about investments and such, we also have some funny characters who are masquerading to be investments, whatever. They're coming here, and of course, they know that you are greed to some extent. Some of you, not all of you. Then they tell you, hey, we're going to give you this percentage. Then you rush into putting your money there. Then you lose all your money, all right? Because somebody was telling me, hey, I have a company that is promising me 30% per month. And then they were asking me, now, should I put... 30% per month? Who is giving that? 30% per month. Do you know that means it's 30 times 12? How much is that? Like 360% per year? That means whatever you invest, it will be 3x in a year. It happens on the stock market, yes, but doesn't happen any day and every day. Be very careful. So anyway, let's go back to our video. What I was saying is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just concentrate all your wealth on stocks. No. If you love stocks and they are doing good, put some cash there. Then try to find other investments. All right. And that is why I try the best as I can. You guys, I came here, I taught you about money market fund. You know, to a point whereby some of you, when I meet them on the road, they call me the MMF guy. You know, there's somewhere I actually go, and the guy calls me MMF. Hi, MMF, how are you doing? It's because I talk about MMF every day in, day out, MMF. Now you know what I MMF. Now people, you are comfortable. You are putting your money there. And I love the way you guys are contacting me. You know, by the way, this is my number. You can contact me on WhatsApp. Yeah, in case you need my services. Now, the guys are contacting me. Hey, Joseph, now that I have MMF, I love when you start that statement that way. Go, Joseph, now that I have MMF, what other? It tells me now, okay, as a nation, we are sure MMF may not be the ultimate investment that we can have, may not really be like, you know what, that, but we are starting. Isn't it? We are growing. We are now having the character of savings. You know, they say China is the nation that has saved a lot. You know, so we are now getting into that character of in savings, investing, taking care of our future and something like that. By the way, if you ask me, I can tell you, I'm projecting, I can tell one day people will be leaving portfolios of investments. You know, back then in Africa, we are used to, children used to inherit the goats and cows and parcels of land. In future, probably we may still have the cows and goats and lands and what have you. But again, I'm looking at it to a point whereby people will be leaving even YouTube channels. Somebody writing a will and saying, hey, my YouTube channel goes to. Somebody saying, hey, my Instagram channel. Because it's a source of income, isn't it? Your Facebook channel living to, it's a source of income. Are we together? Some saying, hey, I leave my portfolio of stocks on my ETF, my index fund, my what have you. That is where we are going. Please, let us transform and change with the current world where it is heading. So please, guys, shares are good, shares are great, and I 100% support you. Invest on them. But don't let them be the only investment that you have. Okay? I was about to give a very weird example. You know, back then in Africa, I said this may not make a sense to some other people who are watching, but in Africa, we used to say, hey, don't give birth to one kid because for you do not know. Let's not try to imagine what I'm trying to mean by that, but that's what we used to say. The same case, even in my Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, tells me put your money into 7 areas, if possible 8 or something like that, for you do not know when the disaster will strike. Yes, distribute your wealth. And please, there are people who have realized that they are not really investors, they are speculators. You come here, you tell them you made a lot of money on stocks, then they take everything they have, they can even dare borrow and put their money there because they are greedy. They're not there to grow through, not to go through, to grow through the process of investing. They're just there to dump in money and then they get some cash, and then because for them the concept of investing, they don't understand it. They think it's like a short-term game. You get in, get out, get in, get out, get out of money. Sometimes I get a DM like, hey, Joseph, show me where I can put my money and make my money very, very fast. So such kind of text I don't even reply because that's a person who is broken, mentally as far as the money is concerned. But of course, they need a lot of teachings, they need a lot of education, and I do so. This is why I actually make this kind of videos to educate. So you don't put all the eggs in one basket, my brothers and sisters, okay? You distribute your cash. And how can you tell, I know probably you might be asking me a question, Joseph, what is the healthy way to distribute my wealth? That's a very mature question. What I always tell people, what guides you how to distribute your wealth? It is basically your goal. It's the goal that you want. For example, there's this question that people ask me when we have a session with them. Hey, Joseph, if you had 2 million, what would you do with it? That's the worst question you can ever ask somebody. That should be like an 11th commandment. Thou shalt never ask somebody that question. Because they will answer that question based on what they could have done. So that won't be beneficial to you. A good financial advisor should first ask you, where are you going? What do you want? First of all, draw them a picture of where you want to go, what you want to have, by when do you want to have that. So when you draw a very clear picture of what you want, and then, of course, you shed a light on where you are, so they can be able to match between where you go or where you're going and where you are. So for them is to come with a strategy to link you up to your future. That is where now you can say, okay, based on where you are, we can have, say, 25% of your portfolio on stocks. We can have 15% of your portfolio on, say, government securities. Then we can have, say, 15% of your portfolio, say, in something like special funds. And we can have 5% of your portfolio, say, in cryptocurrency. Are we together? Or you can, you get what I'm saying? Because we have different types of investors. An investor can come and tell you, hey, you know what, Joseph, I've exhausted these stable investments, you know, the low risk investments. Now I'm looking for higher risk investments. Now this is when you talk about crypto, you talk about special funds. This is when you talk about other investments that of course gives higher returns, but of course they have a percentage of risk in them. Someone may tell you, hey, Joseph, I have this money and I do not have anything. For example, I get this, by the way, I actually get this call a lot. Hey, I'm going to retire, or I've just retired. I'm contemplating, should I get my pension, all of it, I invest by myself, or should I go for the endowment policies? Should I go for the drawdowns or for something like that? You see, that is not a person you can just start exploring on crypto or something. No, you have really to understand this is a conservative investor. For God's sake, his or her life revolves around that particular lump sum that he or she has from the pension. So that is a very unique individual. So what happens, for you to know how you can distribute that wealth, what percentage goes where, can contact me. Then I'll be able to find out how you are, what do you have in existence. That's why for those who contact me, I ask them, do you have any existing investment so far? Have you invested on anything? Okay, you are a totally beginner. You have nothing. It's only that you have some cash in your bank, okay? So I do what we call self-analysis to realize that what is your affordable loss? To what extent can you take a risk? Are you a risk taker? Are you not a risk taker? So when we do that analysis, that is when now we can tell this is the route that you can. We don't tell, we propose. This is the route that you can follow. At the end of the day, it's your decision. We can have a session, then you decide to do nothing. So we propose this is the route that you can take because you can head there and something like that. Not because that we know everything. No, it's only that in this world we are beneficial to each other in one way and the other. Are we together, guys? Okay, so the ultimate point here is, please don't concentrate all your eggs in one area. Try to learn other things. And by the way, I'm not calling you to panic because you have one investment, say money market fund, no, or say stocks. No, what you do is that, okay, I didn't know that. Now start exploring the other, okay? If you're not a beginner, look for another one. I remember there was a client called me and told me, hey, Joseph, I've exhausted many other investments. Now, what other areas can I invest? This is now we start exploring likes of the rates, you know, ETFs, international market. Now we go beyond the borders of Kenya and find out where other areas can you be able to invest. Because I believe in what we call diversification, having multiple areas where you have put your money. This is good, Joseph. I hope I've done something on this video. I hope you've benefited in one way or the other. Perhaps I might say something that is out of truth. Maybe you can verify. I said I'm not perfect. I might miss some information here and there. It's good to always verify. But generally, I hope you've gotten the information and you are able to benefit out of it. So let's try the best as we can. Even if we will never make this world a better place, at least we can make our pockets healthy, isn't it? That's me. Okay, don't forget, anyway, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you leave a comment on the comment section. Make sure you give me that like button or that like. And of course, check out my other channels as far as investments are concerned. And of course, that is my number. How about we see each other next time?